What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. When we first meet a person and decide we are feeling them, we want to take it to the next level and jump into a relationship, you never know who you are really getting. Everybody leads off with their representative. They present the best version of themselves so you can feel comfortable and let your guard down. Of course, if a person walked up to you and said, "My name is such and such. I'm jealous, possessive, insecure, a little bit throwed off, and if you play with me, I will hurt you," that would be enough to make even the most hopeless romantic say, "Nah, I'm good." Relationships should be built on trust. But as we get older and we have been through a few of them, some people go through situations that change their perspectives. For example, if you constantly are being cheated on with partners, that could cause insecurities. And even if you think you have moved on and let that pain go, that baggage and pain can carry on into the next relationship. I'm sure we all know that one couple, they check locations, pull up to spots their partners say they at, pop up at jobs, or the thing that has broken up a lot of relationships and marriages, going through their phone. For some, they feel like their phones are their personal, private devices. They should be able to have in there whatever they want to, with no worries. But depending on your partner, that might not be the case. Some people want you all to themselves. No friends, communicating with exes, old pictures, and if they find out otherwise, you never know how they will react. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Gary, Indiana, to discuss the case of a man who went through his girl's phone and what he found made him snap. Back in 2019, 27-year-old Sydney Nicole Buckingham, nicknamed Sid by family and friends, was on top of the world. Described as bubbly, outgoing, with a smile that could change the energy in a room. The young lady had made a great life for herself. She was a mother first, but she was living in her dream with a career as a dance instructor. Big on health, taking care of herself, going to the gym. That's what she was teaching her students, mixed in with a lot of fun, but definitely discipline. Her personality gained Sydney a lot of attention on social media, and she became an influencer. The beautiful young lady would gain followers who admired her lifestyle. But on a personal note, outside of work, she never had a problem catching the attention of men. Beautiful in shape, Sydney had the pick of the litter. She would catch the eye of a 38-year-old man named James McGee. The older gentleman led off with respect. He courted her by asking her out on dates and treated Sydney right. So the two would decide to jump into a relationship and make it official. But James had a shaky past with women. A few years prior, he was in a relationship with a lady who we will call Shay for the sake of the story. And she was carrying quadruplets for him, pregnant with 4 babies at once. Somewhere in the mix, the couple had an argument, causing James to snap. He kidnapped his BM and put hands on her. So bad, she lost 3 of the 4 babies. He was charged, but pled out in 2017 to everything and was given a 3-year suspended sentence and was placed on probation. Now still on probation, he was moving on with Sydney. It's unclear if she knew about his past, but she did know he worked hard, had his own place, and treated her right. About 3 months into the relationship, the couple decided they would have a fun night out on the town. There was a concert coming up with some big names performing, like Wiz Khalifa. So on July 27th, 2019, they went to Tinley Park in Illinois to the concert. Everything was going good. The couple even went live, showing how much fun they was having. And after that, they headed back to James' apartment in Gary. But that was the last time Sydney was seen, and the last social media post she would ever make. Family and friends quickly noticed something wasn't right. She would never leave her kids unattended and not show up for work. So her family reported the young lady missing. As more information came out about her whereabouts the day she went missing, police quickly realized she was last seen at a concert with James. But they wouldn't have to wait for answers much longer. One of his homeboys walked into the station. He had a guilty conscience. He stated the night of the concert, James called him and said, "Bro, I messed up again. Bad this time. I need your help." He asked, like, "What's wrong, bro?" And he claimed James told him, "I'm about to take myself out. I put hands on my girl and it's bad. She not breathing or moving." And sent his homie a picture of Sydney laying in the bed. For whatever reason, his friend decided to go over and help James out. That's when he noticed James had put Sydney in a suitcase and was cleaning the apartment. James told him they had went to the concert. They were both tipsy and Sydney went in the room to lay down. James noticed a number had called her phone. It caught his attention. He opened her phone and went through it. Inside the phone, he found explicit photos of her and an ex-boyfriend and decided to call the man and confront him. After the phone conversation, he went to the room where Sydney was at, and that's where James told his homie he blacked out and started putting hands on her. He told him he needed his help, and they drove the body to a nature preserve in Illinois, and James dumped the suitcase dead. At first, police didn't believe the story. Detectives went to the park with a search team, and unfortunately, it was all true. They found Sydney, just as the friend explained, already gone. Her family, sadly, only could identify her by a tattoo. For him coming forward, the friend was granted immunity, and police went to James' apartment with a search warrant. They were let in by the apartment staff, and they instantly smelt the strong odor of bleach and other cleaning supplies, and it looked like he had replaced the mattress. Now James was a wanted man for taking his girlfriend's life. He was tracked down and arrested driving on the highway in Illinois. He was taken into custody and charged with first-degree hit and also other charges as well. He was held on a no bail. Sydney's family was devastated and left to grieve. James' lawyer told the judge at his first court hearing the case was all hearsay. He never admitted to anything. It was no evidence he hurt Sydney, and they claimed they was just judging a man off his past. As James sat awaiting trial, wildly enough, the judge released him on a box. They stated the prosecutors were taking too long to bring the case to trial, and now James was a free man, pending his court date. But that wouldn't last long though. As the trial date came, prosecutors painted a picture of a jealous, controlling man who had issues in all his relationships with multiple charges of DV. And when he saw Sydney's on again and off again ex-boyfriend call and the pictures in her phone, that jealousy turned into rage. His friend was the key witness, and with that was enough to find James guilty on all charges, and he was sentenced to 80 years in prison. Rest in peace to Sydney. I send my prayers and condolences to her family and kids. They was only together 3 months. In my opinion, that's too fresh. And sometimes people linger around, like exes. Pictures might still be in phones, not deleted, or phone numbers. If it was 3 years, that would be different. She probably was weighing out her options, just in case her and James didn't work out. But depending on the type person you are dealing with, sometimes you can't do that. Some people catch feelings fast, and even if it is just lust, they don't want nobody else touching you or you communicating with nobody they view as a threat. It's crazy though. James only knew her for 3 months. He could have simply left her alone and told Sydney to leave his apartment and move on. But I'm gonna let y'all finish this one up. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts about the situation in the comments. And remember, We gotta succeed, not to fail. So we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, it's a super crazy story. Rest in peace to Sydney. I definitely send my prayers to her family. 3 months, that ain't even long enough to get to know somebody for real. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Definitely tap that like button if you feeling the content. This another episode of Hood Tales. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.